You might be wondering, is it possible to still get a J1 waiver approved with this administration? Well, we are still getting J1 waivers approved, and we just got one recently, so I want to share with you what's working now. We're also going to share the latest processing times and what you need to avoid in order to optimize your chances for success. Hi, my name is Kaushik Ranchod. I'm an immigration lawyer. I've been practicing for over 23 years. And in this video, we're going to talk about a recent success story, how we got it approved, and let's get started. So first of all, why do you need a J1 waiver? Well, if you have a J1 visa and you're subjected to the two-year home residency rule, you need a waiver or you need to go back for 2 years. What's important to note is that there's certain top areas where exceptional hardship waiver might be favorable for you. For instance, if you're a physician and you don't want to work in an underserved area for 3 years, or if you're not able to apply for a no objection waiver because your country is not willing to issue a no objection statement, or if you got US government funding or funding from your home country and you don't want to take the risk of getting that case denied because those are very hard to win, an exceptional hardship waiver could be a good option. But in order to qualify, how do you qualify? Well, the basics is you got to have a qualifying relative. Qualifying relative could be a U.S. citizen spouse, U.S. citizen child, or a lawful permanent resident spouse, lawful permanent resident child. Let's look at the processing times. How long is this taking to get approved? This is the biggest mistake I see. People underestimate the amount of time it takes to file. They wait till the last minute, and then it may be a situation where you may not have enough time, and so you want to start early. We filed this case on October 16th, 2023. We got it approved on September 10th, 2025. So here you'll see it took about 23 months to get the case approved. Now let's talk about the details of this case. Our client was from the Philippines. She was an educated and hardworking woman. She met her partner who was a US citizen studying in her hometown. Now, they did come from cultural backgrounds, but despite that, their relationship grew quickly, and you might identify with that as well. Love can conquer all barriers, and the J1 later obtained a J1 visa to come to the United States as a teacher, where the couple continued their relationship. Of course, they wanted to stay together, so the J1 waiver was a way for them, and specifically in this situation, the exceptional hardship waiver, for having her have to return to her home country. And when we look at this, there's some important mistakes that you want to avoid. And of course, as their attorneys, we make sure are avoided when preparing the application. So let's talk about some common mistakes that are avoided when an attorney who specializes in J1 waivers prepares the case and who's knowledgeable, or that you want to avoid if you are taking on the case. So let's take a look at these top 3 mistakes. The first mistake is submitting weak or generic evidence. Saying generic statements like, I'll face emotional hardship, I'll be sad, I don't know how I'll cope. Those are all generic forms of hardship that need to be documented and explained in detail. USCIS wants proof, medical reports, psychological evaluations, and financial documents showing exactly how your US relative would suffer if you had to leave. And that's where an experienced attorney can help build that narrative and tie every hardship factor directly to your qualifying relative. Now, this is one of the most common mistakes, the second one here that I see, and this is also what I see from attorneys who are not experienced with hardship waivers as well. And that's demonstrating hardship in both scenarios. So what both scenarios am I talking about? The 2 scenarios is if your US citizen spouse or child or lawful permanent resident spouse or child stays here, and if they go with you abroad. Missing one scenario can destroy your case. And the third mistake is missing important country evidence or translation of documents. I often see where country risks are not clearly explained, and because of that, that could cause a denial. And simple things like not having appropriate translation of documents could cause a request for evidence, or in this administration, even a denial. In these situations, an attorney who is experienced in J1 waivers can make sure your evidence is complete, credible, make sure that how to strengthen both sides of the hardship with country reports and personal evidence that USCIS takes seriously. If you have questions about the hardship waiver, you can reach out to us at 916-613-3553. let's dive deeper into how we got this case approved so you can see how we actually avoided these mistakes in this situation. Let's go back to this couple. They moved to the US and they started living together, and then they started to face some challenges. Because of their different religions, they kept their relationship hidden to prevent her spouse from being expelled from the church. Unfortunately, this became public. As a result, the minister was expelled from the church, and this left him unemployed, no other professional experience outside his religious studies. The J1 then became the primary financial supporter of both her partner and her mother. However, as her J1 visa approached expiration, the couple faced the possibility of returning to the Philippines. Now, this option presented significant hardships because the J1 would not be able to earn enough income there to sustain the family. Then in October 2023, we filed the hardship waiver on their behalf. Here we based the hardship based off of financial and emotional hardship. Going back to those mistakes, we provided documentation substantiating the financial and emotional hardship if the couple have to go back to the Philippines or if they were separated. Now we're happy to state that the J1 got approved and is now a legal permanent resident. And this is why we do what we do, because it brings so much meaning to our lives to be able to be part of keeping this family together, continuing their process with the green card process. And if you have more questions about J1 hardship waivers, I invite you to look at our other J1 hardship success stories. We have many of them. You can reach out to us at 916-613-3553. Make sure you subscribe to continue to get these updates. Bye for now.